against this, it's going to be impossible to surprise anybody. But as far as skill level goes, Mousesports have got some amazing players. We know what Kuro is capable of. We definitely know what Black's capable of. Vader really been strong of late. Alex, fantastic support. Couple of moments where you're like, ooh, maybe that wasn't the best choice, but he still comes through when the time counts, and Pass really filling in nicely too. But we as Asians, they've been a really coordinated group. That's their strength. They really know how to work well together, and Crit generally gives them the draft they need.
Yeah, Crit's also a really amazing mid player. I've had the opportunity to watch him a handful of times, and he really does impress. He's somebody I think is going to be pretty dominant in the scene as time goes on, and I think it's going to be a lot even, or more even of a matchup than most people are actually expecting. We as Asian has a lot of tricks up their sleeve, although Mouse is a team who is very hard to surprise, and they are excellent at creating space for Black, their carry player. They do it time and time again. They run very aggressive strategies. Kuro's been known to play Enchantress, even though hard junglers like that have kind of fallen off a bit. People starting to pick Enigma again a lot, but he still really favors that aggressive tri-lane with a jungler, which, again, not really that common anymore, but they make it work.
Yeah, Kuro's all about trying something new and different. He hates being predictable. Hates being predictable. It's always like, oh, I know what's powerful, I know what's not, I know what we can really play around with. So far, we're going to see the main powerhouse has been taken out, and this is just standard bans from We Has Asian. Bounty had to take it out, Templar Assassin taking out. You don't give either of them to anybody, really. It's just not done. And Darkseer actually making his way in the ban pool. Darkseer, a hero which throughout this competition has been kind of ignored, which means Batrider is going to open up in the pool and instantly picked up by Crit. They're not going to wait for that. But Mag, as well as Sven, double melee, double hit, and we know exactly what Mag has been doing to so many teams in this competition already.
This is just becoming incredibly standard. Whatever you have second pick, if the heroes are available, I think every single time this tournament so far, we've seen a team pick Magnus Fen, just because of how that gives you the late game security. You have the reverse polarity, very easy to land. You just go in, hit the important heroes, and your Sven just backs you up. You get 4 seconds to stun once you're level 16. That gives Sven all the time in the world to walk in, especially when you go for the Mask of Madness, Treads, BKB build. You walk in, you do the damage you need, and with 120% cleave with Empower and max rank of Great Cleave, things are going to drop insanely fast. What a lot of people seem to forget is during a late game, if you actually don't attack the tankiest hero, he dies even faster because the cleave itself is pure damage. You don't have to worry about armor mitigation. You can just drop them. I was actually having a conversation about that the other day with Singh, and we were talking as how a Shadow Fiend in one of the games had a butterfly, but that doesn't even matter when you can just cleave him without even touching him. So
yep.
Mitigation is very hard to do against this kind of a lineup, and because of the fact that Sven is going to go for a fast BKB, heroes like Batrider, Windrunner, not the greatest damage output, but let's also keep in mind that Batrider can still lasso BKB, and he can still sticky Napalm.
That's true, and that's the control. That's the other thing we are talking about the other day, where Sven's still going to attack to actually do damage, and if he can't do that, he can't do jack. So that's where Faceless Void then comes into play. We've got Chrono, we've got Shackle, we've got Lasso, we've got a lot of different abilities that are able to control Sven. As far as controlling Mag, I don't think anyone has really successfully done that yet. It's difficult. The second you jump in with a Blink Dagger, you're instantly skewered out of position, and then you can try and catch him, but it's very difficult at the rate that he moves as well. Like, you just can't catch that kind of thing. It's a great escape mechanism, and he can do burst damage. Now we're going to get Rubik for Mousesports, one of those fun heroes that Kuro loves playing around with. Of course, we can remember highlights from a lot of the Star Ladder matches where he made some amazing plays. Blink Daggers or 4-staffs, but it's grabbing Chronospheres and throwing them over the top. And it is one thing to also bear in mind as well, though, just the simple thing, which I know we had a little bit of problem with the Star Ladder. One of the players actually didn't even know it himself, but there was the recent change to Faceless Void, where the Chronosphere, when stolen by Rubik, it doesn't affect Void. He can still walk around. He doesn't get locked down by a stolen Chronosphere. Does, however, still affect every one of the teams.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the fact that even if you Chronosphere and say you hit 2 or 3 people, the Void's inside of it, he can still move around, of course, but the rest of your team is unable to back you up. So at that point, if you're in a good position as a Rubik and you do steal it, it's excellent counter initiation because it stops all the follow-up that's going to be coming out of your team. It's the same reason why Naga Sleep and a BKB is actually an interesting matchup, because you BKB, the sleep comes out, the rest of your team can't help you, and then you're all alone. It's pretty much the same exact scenario. So it's going to be down to how good positioning this Rubik can have during the team fights. He can even steal things like Lasso if he wants to. He can even steal Napalm. It's very frustrating as melee carries, especially to have to deal with that. Your turn rate is ridiculously bad, even with 1 stack, and if you get much more than that, you start getting kited around very badly. Time Walk actually has a relatively lengthy cooldown, and it's hard to stay in range. And the thing about Void, too, is that he is pure physical damage. He's completely reliant on farm to get to the later game, where heroes like Magnus and Sven have some methods of damage output outside of just getting ridiculous amounts of farm that's going to help them. Void needs a little bit better of a start in that regard.
Looks like we're going to finish up our draft right now as far as the banning stage goes. So we already have the banning under TA taken out by We As Asian. Going to remove our Shadow Shaman, the Wisp, as well as the Queen of Pain. So more focused banning coming out against mainly Alex there when I see the Shadow Shaman coming out. And the Wisp also being removed. Surprising that We As Asian still believes they're going to pick it up. Kuro, we kind of know that he loves taking up that Rubik roll. I don't actually remember seeing Alex taking up that Rubik roll at any kind of point. The only other time would have been when it's solo mid, but you've already got Savannah as well as Mag in that pool. It's not really there. And Jakiro, kind of like the man you wouldn't expect to make it to this far in the ban pool, is the last ban out. Shadow Demon Enigma also being removed. But yeah, Jakiro kind of like not getting the loving. But you are going up against Batrider, so Mousesports probably would say, well, what's the huge point for it? Because she's still going to see 4 stars, you're going to see Blink Daggers, and then Jakiro loses a lot of his power.
I really do still like Jakiro if you're We Has Asian because they still need supports. At this point, you're looking at possibly a Batrider who could be off laner mid, a Windrunner who could be off laner mid, and then a carry. So at the very least, you're going to need supports to fill out your lineup, and that's kind of the way that Mouse has banned around. Banning the Shadow Demon is brilliant. We saw yesterday there was a game where a Shadow Demon can completely counter anything with a double stun. It's so hard to play against. We Has Asian is going to go ahead and pick up Disruptor, which honestly is a very good zone control hero. Kinetic Field, Static Storm, amazing at stopping counter initiation. If you catch anybody like Rubik or Magnus in that cloud, especially if you want to get a sphere on top of it as well, it's really hard to come back from that. And I also love the fact that Mouse just picked up Venomancer, because if you look at a Void in a tri-lane, assuming that We As Asian is going to be running a 3 versus 3 or maybe even a 3 versus 1, you don't really have the greatest laning heroes in the world because Void doesn't add much damage. He basically just walks in, throws out his auto attack, and their supports are already being taken up by Mouse, so their choices are actually limited. The Disruptor is still a great pick, but Veno with Void is actually quite good because Veno at level 1 has one of the strongest slows, if not the strongest slow in the game, and he also has pretty significant damage output with it. So taking that away from We Has Asian means their tri-lane is going to be innately weaker.
Yeah, the only downside about Venomancer is he did get reworked recently, and that means that you can't throw out double Gale. You can throw out one, then have to instantly pop the Clarity. So it's not this consistent, like, full-on harassment that we used to see out from the Venomancers, hence he's kind of faded away from the main supports in the scene. But you are 100% right, though. He's fantastic for controlling the lanes, pushing the heroes back, and just being an absolute pain in the ass, as we see We As Asian with Coddle disrupted now. So if you're thinking about your tri-lane, we're looking at the boys on the mounts going down there with the man with no face. If that's the tri-lane, you're thinking Windrunner for a solo, Batrider for a solo?
That would be my guess, yes. I mean, they could change it around a little bit, I suppose. They could do a 2-2-1 if they really wanted to, but I think when you pick a hero like Keeper of the Light, it's interesting because you have a tri-lane, if you're going to put the Disruptor with the Void, that the only way a Keeper can do anything in that tri-lane is to push the wave, or be in a really weird position to try to land Illuminates and harass, which is still sometimes going to end up killing a few creeps. So you put yourself into a weird position in lane against what's probably going to be a Sven Rubik Venomancer, and you never ever want to be out of position against that lane. We're talking about double stun, a very, very strong slow, and a lot of damage output.
Yeah. Could just be for Mag. When we do think about it too, if Coddle can get up in the levels up fast enough, we see that Mana Leak come out in Mag, and he is one of those guys that moves so damn far, and he'll run out there, but then Disruptor can pull him straight back in again. The power of Glimpse. We don't have any big heroes like Nature's Prophet on the field, but we do have to keep our eyes very open for the TPs too, because this is going to be one of those things for Mousesports when they're going to come in. We've seen so many team fights be completely turned around just by that one glimpse. You TP'd on a tier 1 tower, exactly where the fight's going on, you get glimpse and you're instantly taken out, and Broodmother is the final pickup here for Mousesports.
I like the Brood pick a lot. It basically says we're going to tri-lane pretty much 100% from Mouse, which is okay for them because if you want to put the tri-lane versus the Broodmother, at some point the supports are going to have to move around the map, and that's when you find your farm. It's just going to be down to if the Broodmother dies or anything like that, because if the Brood doesn't die, then she's pretty much won her lane. That's the same thing can be said for a lot of off-laners, but she is able to apply so much pressure. The one downside to picking it in this situation is Batrider, Windrunner, and Keeper of the Light all have great counter push. So at any point in the game, past like level 5 or 7 for any of these supports, they can make their way to whatever lane Brood is in and single-handedly keep her down. That's not typically what you want, but this pick is basically just to try to dominate the early laning phase, so we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, so we're going to have ourselves a very, very quick remake and get ourselves back inside the game, hopefully with all the players from the teams, and have ourselves a great little time as I actually have to remember the password.
I could tell you, but then everybody would know.
Yeah,
that's unfortunately, I can't help you with that necessarily.
That's a fantastic thing. That's a fantastic thing.
But yeah, everybody's ready to go, guys. We're going to be back in the game in just a couple of minutes. It's We Has Asian taking on Mouse. It's the first game of the day. Have a lot more games coming. I want to say we're getting out here at about 2 a.m. and we started at 10 a.m. So it's going to be a very long day. And also, hi to God sitting over there. I know we can't hear him right now, but he is sitting there. He's going to be watching the game, giving us the post-game analysis. And James, of course, is MIA searching for the mythical toilet.
Would you believe I also found the mythical password?
Ah, that is good news.
Which isn't so mythical.
Everyone from Mouse is actually almost in the game. We're still missing one.
Yeah,
it looks like we're missing Alex. Yeah, Alex isn't in the game yet, but as soon as he joins, we'll be bringing you guys the next game.
Yeah, and Alex was actually the guy who was having the computer issues before, so we're hoping that's still not the case, and things are sorting out for him. I'm interested to see where this brew pick. Like, I know you're saying it's just for lane dominance, but I suppose when you think about it, if you're looking at the mid game, you're looking for like that big ass power. You're gonna get that from Savannah Mag. You're definitely going to get that from Savannah Mag. But so many times, it's almost painful to watch where Brew Mothers, they just can't push into the base. They just don't have that kind of power. You're saying the counter push power is already there from We Has Asian. How is Mousesports supposed to enter the base? You can win the early game, but if you can't get into the base, if you're dealing with Coddle's Blast and with everything else which is happening, how do you get in? How do you take out the racks? How do you actually win the game?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Like you said, all that counter-pushing measure, and against a Brute especially, if her laning phase doesn't go well, and you already have those counter-pushers, and it could totally backfire. It could be a situation that Mouse really doesn't want to have to experience, but they do have that ridiculously strong mid-game, and Chronosphere is great and everything, but like I said, the Void needs a lot more farm than most other carry heroes to really feel like he's going to be a dominant force in the mid-game, so you already have Sven and Mag. They have built-in mechanisms that do damage. You have Stormhammer, you have Skewer, you have Shockwave, Reverse Polarity itself does damage, and you have God Strength, so everything is basically there in the mid-game for Mouse to create room for the Brood, which is usually the opposite. Usually the Brood is the one who creates the room for the rest of the team. And it looks like the game has started, guys, so we'll be getting in here in just a second. Once again, it's We Has Asians taking on Mouse.
That it is, man. That it is. And, well, I'm looking to see who gets to represent Germany, really, because when you look at this game, this is the battle. This is the battle for second. Yeah. This is the battle for second when you look at it. Both these teams, they should be able to take out the BYOST team. It would be predicted to do so. And then Empire to take everybody else out. So whoever wins this game, basically, I wouldn't say guarantees themselves a spot in the quarterfinals, but that's what's on the line here. This is going to be the hardest game for these guys in their group.
Yep, a lot of things on the line. Let's see which team is going to be able to take it. Of course, guys, the picks are already done. If you guys are just tuning in, we had a remake because we were missing one of the players from Miles, but the game's going to be started in just a second. Everyone's taking their heroes, and we are just waiting for the screen to disappear.
There we are, and fun to actually see. So Rubik, I guess it'll be Kuro. Kuro's going to be picking up that little role, and Fader, he's going to be taking up that Mag. Black, would you believe it? A farming Sven, Black farming up as Sven.
I don't even think he needs Cleave. I think giving him Cleave is unfair, because Black is already such a good farmer that if you give him a mechanism that makes him farm faster, it's like having Game Genie for Dota 2.
I wouldn't actually see him level up Cleave. It's one thing which, whenever you watch Black play, and this was one of those games, I can't even remember which game it was. He was playing Tiny, I remember that, and it was on the Radiant side, and every other tower outside the base had been taken down. And it was just this small area on the bottom lane, in between here and here. And he managed to hold the creep wave just in this box for about 15 minutes. And just by doing so, he got some insane level of farm, which got his entire team back inside the game. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch. And where are we going with a whole bunch of consumables? Are we looking at level 1 Roshan again? Is this going to be our second time in the tournament we're going to see this?
Nah, I don't think so. They don't have a Void with a Stout Shield. It would be very risky to try to do that. I mean, they have one melee hero, no Stout. There's no way they can tank the damage. It just looks like they're trying to fight at level 1, which means they're confident. But against a Venomancer, Sven, Mag, I mean, they have a lot of damage output just in spells alone.
Oh, this is a good place to come in, though. Normally teams would just come down that bottom lane, then rotate out. But what they're looking for is someone to come in a little bit closer. Pings are coming out saying they're there. I'm wondering if someone caught a very, very quick glimpse of it. But they're stopping, and I like this. Trees are being cleared in the middle lane. They're looking for the pull across, but one ward from the die is going to stop that camp from spawning.
Yeah, this is something you're going to continue to see probably. It's when you rely so heavily on your mid player to dominate the mid game, if you have that camp constantly being pulled, you can actually pull the bigger one as well if you time it properly. It denies so much experience from the middle lane. Heroes like Batrider, assuming that Batrider is going to be going mid, you really want to make sure that you get the most experience that you possibly can, because his spells are basically his entire damage output. He builds tanky, gets a blink for initiation, and then you just run the game from there. So if Crit's unable to get that just because of the fact that you can pull, then it really hurts your mid game. And we saw it time and time again, especially against heroes like TA. TA doesn't get her level. She doesn't really do damage. That's one of the strengths of the hero, is that it's all built into her skill set. She has meld, she has refraction. You can get to level 9, 10, and then you start to really be a force. So this is a good countermeasure to that.
So looks like we just got ourselves a quick pause. They're all speaking, I'm assuming, a little bit of German, but at least Sek I can understand from Black. That's enough just to run through our lanes very quickly for who's playing what before our engagements do begin. So Pass will be on the top lane, taking up the role as the Broodmother. It's going to be Kurokai supporting as our Rubik, and he'll be moving up and down the lanes, but more than likely going to settle down in towards that bottom lane. Then puts Fader, the Mag in the middle lane, down towards our bottom lane. Alex supporting as a Venomancer, and he'll be keeping Black very, very comfortable on that bottom lane. Cry will be going on that bottom lane, trying to go solo by the looks of it, while Tommy, middle lane solo up Batrider, and then...
the battle begins.
Yes, crit, thank you. We're gonna have RMC. Thank you, Rest Tommy. We've got RMC, who's going to be taking up the role as Keeper of the Light. HHMP will be the Disruptor, and that leaves our last one and always #1 player as far as farm slot for We as Asians, Unicorn.
Yeah, these lanes have pretty much worked out, I think, as we both have expected. It's going to be Mouse's Pots going top lane, a solo Broodmother versus a tri-lane, and they have started off with Sentry Wards. Hip Hop Not Pop actually has that picked up, and it's going to be a dual lane coming out mid from Mouse, and this is what I was kind of expecting from them. If you leave a Batrider solo against a Magnus, he's going to get zoned out. There's absolutely nothing that Fata would be able to do in this particular matchup. Even if he's going for a bottle rush, getting any CS at all is pretty much a miracle.
Yeah. And I think Kuro was really, really hoping too the Batrider would just not be 100% awake to it, of what was going to happen. He picked up a double damage room, was already going to look for that opening. It didn't really 100% happen for him. And now Kuro pings out and says, okay guys, we're in trouble because we can't pull that middle lane, which means that we either have to be massively aggressive towards the bottom lane or start pulling ourselves and pulling and double stacking through it all. Go deny off those creep waves, which has already started now on the top lane for We as Asia. We've got the creep wave, and it's a double pull down. Control the lane even longer, drop it down even further, and there is just nothing coming in for Pass. He's already had enough trouble as it is with that one Sentry Ward smack bang in the middle of his webs.
Well, Kuro's actually completely abandoned Fata in the middle lane. He's going to have his bottle and one more creep, so that's good. But the other thing, too, I love about the ward placement that We as Asians has put down near the small camp is that you can't even see that if you sentry unless you have a way to get over there or have any plague wards. I mean, Alex might be able to spot it right now, but you can see him. He's looking for it. He just can't actually hit it. So at this point, they're going to have to get a flying courier just to de-ward, which wastes a lot of time and a lot of extra money that they can't afford to give away.
Yeah, the courier is running up that mid right now. Oh, hello, bottom lane. Cry, a little bit of trouble. He's already used Wind Run and been storm bolted up after being telekinesis. One last right click. Black takes the first blood in the bottom lane.
First blood is a knight's.
Of course, getting the first blood on somebody like Black already playing Sven, who's going to be the hard carry, that's the ideal situation for Mouse here. And that's the one mistake that We as Asian, of course, can't afford to make either. The offlaner, your pretty much only job is to not get caught out, especially against a very low damage output in a telekinesis and just a storm bolt. At the point, I'm pretty sure Kuro wasn't even level 2, so that means that he got himself quite low before they even went on him in the first place, and those are just mistakes that you cannot make against a team like Mouse.
Yeah. Because you're saying about level 2 because there was just no fade ball from Kuro, so that burst damage just wasn't there. But he got the pickup, managed to pull him back, and they make the moment out of it. Now Alex just chilling around the corner as Kuro looks like they are trying to focus a little bit more levels into Kuro. Alex is in the neighborhood, but he's not trying to soak up too much of the experience, just looking to double pull by the looks of it, which he now does do so. And their timing should almost be right. Nah, it is. Maybe with the set toss stop. Nah, they got it right. They got it 100% right. So easy farm. And this bottom lane, it looks like it's actually abandoned. Yep, Cry's actually stacking up on the camps on the side, pulling through and getting his farm now from the jungle.
I like this choice. If you don't trust yourself to stay in a decent position, you might as well go and try to find some semblance of farm elsewhere. They have a Keeper of the Light, so even if Cry doesn't get anything himself in the next couple of minutes, he's going to stack, allow the Keeper to just use Illuminate, spam that down, Chakra, you have power shots as well. They can clear creep stacks very, very easily, and it seems like this is going to be something as well that we're going to see a lot more of. It's just a lot less risky to stay on your side of the map at this point in the game and continue, especially as an offlaner, to just try to find your farm. Because if he walks in now that Kuro is level 3, Alex has Gale, of course, and Stormhammer, he will die even with a Wind Run. So at this point, he can't afford to get caught out of position. He just feels it's a little bit a better idea to stay in the jungle.
So then, what do we have to say about the lane on the bottom lane? Like, there's Alex and Kuro. How long do we remain here? Do we try and push out the tier 1 tower? Or is it that movement up to go into the enemy jungle, stick it to the man, gank up the middle lane, look for those smokes, look for something? They're looking for 4-minute rune control at this point, and that might make a small opening. But if this bottom lane, Sven could just be down here by himself. There's no reason why he just cannot just solo this bottom lane. Even if someone comes down here to try and contest him, Black's already got a decent start up, building up Hand of Midas, which he's almost finished in like 40 gold or something like that. And then farm is just going to start streaming through for him. He's already got 25 for 12, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of farming. We also have to look at Crit too. He's 25 for 7, and the Void is sitting at 23 and 10. So the two highest farmers in the game outside of Black right now are both on the side of We Has Asian. And Void in the late game, he is very good at just stopping his Sven from doing what he wants to do. As soon as a BKB comes out, you can spear him. It wastes the BKB duration. It also wastes your God Strength. I mean, this is things that Sven can't do against a Void in the late game. Even though he does a significant amount of damage, he's just not going to have the opportunity to freely walk around those team fights. And because they already have a Disruptor, they have Illuminate spam, they have a lot of damage just from being around. You have Thunder Strike, Power Shots, Shackles, Lasso. There's so many things that they can do. I mean, only a few of them go through BKB, but Bat Rider is also going to be a giant annoyance as well. The fact is, getting a quick Midas is great if you're not going to be trying to apply any pressure, but I think that actually works to We Has Asian's advantage because their late game with a Void, I feel, is going to be a bit stronger unless the Mag can get some decent reverse polarities.
Yeah. Well, everything comes down to that initiation, so we're not going to say there's any pressure fader, but there's a decent amount of pressure coming your way, man. And we'll see if he can do it. We'll see if we can do it. I'm just interested to see just how much pressure is able to be created by him as well as Sven. And if it's able to happen in the middle lane, the bottom lane, and Pass can make it opening on the top. Because right now, Pass is getting next to nothing. His experience is still coming through at a higher rate than most of the heroes most of the support heroes on the map. And farm-wise, he's managed to pick up 3 last hits, which is a hell of a lot more than Windrunner has. Windrunner's still at 0 for 0 for the entire time. Searching for the buttons is a concern. I'm wondering if a keyboard... Oh, he lost half of his mouse. What?
I don't even know how you can actually lose half of a mouse.
Yeah, neither do I.
Maybe one of his buttons fell off? I don't know. That's pretty much the
German
only thing I can
Rage
think of.
just splits a mouse in half with just one little swipe of the finger.
I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't put it past him, but I totally agree with the top lane as Paz is getting away with a lot more than I think he should be at this point, but it's already 4 minutes in. There's only been 1 sentry actually expended so far. Hip Hop Not Pop, wow, that's actually hard to say fast, has another one on him, but they can't really kill him unless everyone comes here. They have an Illuminate. They don't have any hard disables. The Void can go in, but under a web, you still get the bonus move speed, and since he's maxing it, he still has the 25% increase run speed when he's sitting in his web. That's enough to pretty much counteract anything that We As Asian's going to be able to do in terms of aggression. So as long as he sits back, but still in experience range, he should be able to continue getting his levels.
Yeah. So wondering exactly what is causing this little bit of delay. Hopefully it won't be too long. Of course, coming up for the rest of today, we've got the rest of Group C. So if you've also managed to free up a little bit of time on this wonderful Friday, you're going to need a lot more time. We've got Group C, Group D as far as the group stages go. And then, of course, we have our playoffs. And we're actually going to do all the quarterfinals today. All the quarterfinals have to be done today. Semi-finals start tomorrow. There's our go. But if I'm hoping you have cleared your schedules because there is a lot of Dota coming out today and into the morning.
Yeah, looking forward to the games. We got so many on the way. I think 5 more after this from the group stages themselves, and we go on to the quarterfinals, which are 2 best-of-3s back-to-back. So like I said, getting out of here at around 2 a.m. if everything goes well, which we had some delays yesterday, but everything should be running a lot smoother because we got the sound figured out. We're coming through in-game. All is well on this fine morning.
Looking towards that middle lane, and Crit sees it coming pretty obviously. And also that was really being kept a massive secret what Mousesports were trying to do there, but double damage rune for Mag. There's that skewer in again, and he's got no ulti. He can't hold Crit in, he can't pull him in and wait for Kuro to come in for telekinesis. So in the end of the day, it was just a skewer for the sake of a skewer.
Now, supports have finally rotated, though. They realize that, like you were saying earlier, Black doesn't really need a babysit down here. They've completely sacked the lane at this point. But on the downside, if they're not really roaming successfully, they're getting absolutely nothing. Where we can see that We Has Agents continuing to farm their jungle. They have Chakra, so they basically have infinite mana once that Keeper reaches level 4. And I think what they're going to go ahead and do is instead of just going the gank route, go the old style of just try to get a tower really fast, maybe 2 for some kind of a reaction, because God's Strength and the increased attack speed from Midas should be enough to get this tier 1 tower down relatively fast.
Well, Windrunner's coming down and try and stop this, but she's only got Windrun. That's the only ability she's managed to level up. And maybe hoping that she get level 2 when she comes down here. Probably the most amount of experience she's going to get just by soaking up the experience of the dying creep wave when it comes in on that tier 1 tower. But doesn't want to stay too close, because the second she does that, Kuro jumps, Black War Cries, you all just run in, and you start taking everything else you want. So Fortification Force, Kuro, walking up searching for Cry. And there's another support coming in now. So Coddle's making his way down. At least he's got himself a level 2 Illuminate. But the last hit from the tower destroyed up by Black. And they don't need to stick around now. They can fall themselves back. Black can almost buy full treads as well. And we're still only 6 minutes into this game. And the Hand of Mice is completely done. Mousesports just waiting for someone to overcommit. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to do it for him.
The Faceless Void has actually decided to go for a Midas as well, so that's basically delaying his mid-game. The one thing about getting Midas and a Void is he's already relatively weak in terms of damage output. The Midas is going to pay for itself eventually, but Black is already so far ahead in terms of overall gold because he got that tower last hit. His CS is a little bit higher, and he had his Midas quicker, so that means that he's going to be getting the gold income just that much faster. And at this point, he has 1,700 gold. I'm not really sure what he's going to be buying, and like you were saying, he has not skilled Cleave at all, which is a little bit of a shock, but I guess if you don't miss any lane last hits, and Cleave honestly can mess up your farm a bit depending on how you attack it. You can get some where you just can't last hit it because you have Cleave, and we're going to see top, or middle, excuse me, Magnus takes out Crit.
Yeah, solo kill as well, but looks like he made the most of his reverse polarity. Able to bring down that hero. I love Zven's build, building up Armlet straight after. I don't know if he's actually intending on skipping his treads. I highly doubt he's going to intend on skipping his treads. But if he's got the magic wand, buys the helm, maybe just so he's got that normal regen up his sleeve, and then can finish up the treads. And he's going to get so much fun. I like this from Blake too. I was talking about before, like the fact he's just able to control wave so much. He won't put a single point in Cleave until he really has to get to that point where he's looking to push or he's looking to mass farm up the jungle. Everything else, Warcry, Stormbolt, and even if he has to, stats, because he doesn't want to push this wave. He wants to control it. And the more he controls it, the more farm he gets, and the further Weird Asian has to dive to the wrong side of the map to kill him.
Yeah, he's actually decided to finally put 1 point inside of his Cleave, so it's not too bad. Maybe he's just looking to try to push while the rest of his team applies pressure to the map. If they let this go on, he's going to be farming at a ridiculous rate. He's already a little bit ahead of the Void. We talked about that. Paz is continuing to get experience in the top lane. He's level 5 now, so he has level 3 spawn Spiderlings. He's working his way probably what I would assume is a Soul Ring. I think it's being sent to him right now, so he has that finished. And they haven't really dealt with the Brood, but at the same time, the Brood hasn't really done much damage to the tower either, so it's kind of like a trade-off. Our Void's going to be farming. The Brood's still going to get experience, but once these supports move, again, a Void can't stop Brood on his own, especially if you rush a Midas. You just don't have the damage to take him out. So with that being said, Paz is going to be able to find his farm elsewhere inside of the jungle, and we'll just hope that we as Asians' efficiency in terms of their jungle speed keeps them in the game.
Well, how efficient are they really being? Because I'm not seeing much gold per minute come in. Like Disruptor as well as Coddle, they're the two lowest gold per minutes on the field. And now HHMP may be thinking the wall comes up and it does lock in pass, but there's no follow-up. There's just a whole bunch of spies which are in fact trying to kill off Hip Hop Not Pop. But it's just not doable that much, because then you have to dive in way too far. But Pass doesn't care. He sits on the lower ground, the spiders farm on the high ground, and he's still able to get the farm. Gets the farm, gets the levels, and doesn't risk anything. So hard to actually lock down a Broodmother unless you got heroes that just, they want to do it. They're great against Coddle pushes, they're great, they got nice burst damage, but as you said, that just doesn't really exist 100%. Void can get Chrono, and then you have to couple absolutely everything that we as Asian has in their support heroes to try and bring down Broodmother. But their levels aren't great. Like Disruptor's at level 4, the Thunderstrike's only 2 points, 1 point. It's going to do very little damage, and then Coddle with Illuminate, 2 points in that one too. Decent damage, but not enough to get a kill.
Well, we're talking about the Illuminate, but the fact of the matter is the Keeper has made his way towards the bottom lane because Mouse continues to pressure. They're keeping their tri-lane there. And instead of trying to roam, they're basically pushing up to make at least one extra person come down because you want to defend your tier 2. You don't want to lose a tier 2 before 10 minutes. That's just really bad. You lose so much map control from it. You can put up aggressive warding, which we can see Mouse has already done. They've put a ward by the tier 2 bottom. It's just to the left-hand side, and they also have a ward at the rune spot near bottom and, of course, surrounding Roshan. So once the tier 1s drop, you lose a lot of your map control. Paz is feeling absolutely no pressure anymore because of the said rotation from that Keeper of the Light. He actually walked his way back into the jungle, but like you were saying, these heroes have absolutely zero kill potential on a Brood unless they use Sphere.
There's your middle lane gank up. The Lasso's there trying to hold Kuro in position. Mag able to pull him back in again with the Shockwave. Needs another right click. Those magic one charge is almost enough. 28 HP, 9 HP. Last right click from Alex gets the kill. They will lose Kuro, however. There's a lot of support coming in. Shockwave going to go back through Unicorn, trying to come in to help. Power Shot finishes off the Venomancer. So it's a 1-for-2 trade, but there's a lot of heroes. It's not even an even trade because you've got Paz pushing out the top lane with a mass army of spiders, and Black is still free farming on bot lane. He's going to add some pressure to that tier 2 tower on bot.
Well, thankfully he didn't skip his treads. I thought that would have been an interesting choice to say the least, but he's decided to pick them up, and he's still got his helmet. He might actually go for a kill there. Windrun might have been a little bit wasted. He actually conserved his ultimate and his Stormbolt. He didn't decide to use them. I think 1 or 2 swings would have been enough to kill. Looks like he wants to try to go in. Let's see if he goes for it.
Yep, here comes the call. So maybe with a Stormbolt. There's a Stormbolt on God Strength pops as well as Warcry, but he runs away with it. Looking to get shackled, almost got shackled, and maybe even another one. Flame Break pushes him back in again. Got to keep that run going. He's got 5-1 charges up his sleeve if he wants to use it. Support's not TPing in. Now it is. That's going to be Kuro coming in. Looks for the Stormbolt. Can't decide in the middle of the Firefly. 4 Napalm stacks, and they bring him down. So Black, instead of continuously running down to it, was actually Alex who TP'd in. Tries to turn around, thinks about fighting, but didn't have enough mana for the bolt.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kuro didn't actually have a TP on him. The Venomancer TP was late. As soon as the Batrider TP'd, I assumed the support would actually TP to that bottom lane. 1 Gale or anything like that would have been plenty to get Black out of there. But that's his first death of the game. Now it's all tied up 3-3.
Fader, pull back in again in the middle lane. There's that little bit of a glimpse, but then again destroyed instantly. Pulls him back in again, but skewers him directly out. And then fabled out by Kuro, as well as the damage from Mag's Shockwave, and the damage is too much. And that's actually Mag's now Blink Dagger. 12 minutes in, and the Blink Dagger arrives for Mag.
Now this is the point in the game where Magnus becomes that force where you really have to think twice whenever you want to initiate.
Oh, nice shackle from Cry. Latches Kuro. Flamebreaker pushing back in again. The Firefly is going to burn down Kuro. And just after he managed to steal Napalm, but instantly killed.
A really nice play coming out from Cry. Now level 7, by the way. So she's made her way back into the game in a big way. Paz is still leading her in terms of off-lane experience. Paz is level 8 compared to the 7 of the Windrunner. But that's really not so much of a huge deal. You still have level 4 Power Shot, level 2 Shackle at this point. And really it's just going to be down to the Shackles. The initiation that We Has Asian has is still quite good. You just really have to worry about Magnus right now. Because 1 reverse polarity, you have Sven to follow it up. You have Gale, you have Poison Nova as well. So the ultimate's done. And you have Spell Stealing, Rubik, and Fable. So there's a lot of AoE follow-up coming out from Mouse. If you get caught by just 1 reverse polarity, fights could go very badly for you.
Looks like they're looking to catch out. Crit right now, he's just sitting there in the middle lane, and again Kuro is able to steal that Napalm. So looking to slow down Batrider. While the 3 heroes push it and Fader. Knows he can just blink and skewer at any moment he wants to. Just gotta be careful of that Flame Break, puts back on cooldown, and maybe another steal out from Kuro this time. Able to pick up Flame Break. While selling a level 1 ability is still an amazing positional thing.
Yeah, that partner with Telekinesis, you can pull somebody so far out of position if you time your Flame Break right. It's almost like having a Force Staff, basically. You pull them one direction, you throw out the Flame Break so it hits on the right side. You pull somebody so far into your team that We Has Asian has no way of helping him. And the one thing about We Has Asian is that while they do have to worry about initiation against them, they have a very good team at defending their towers. They have Keeper of the Light, they have Batrider who can just pop the Firefly, sit in front of his tower, and just burn things down. And you have Power Shot spam, you have Disruptor who can use Thunder Strike and infinite mana because of the Keeper. So the longer the game goes on without BKBs, the harder it's going to be for Mouse to actually push into We Has Asian. But when we start seeing this Sven pick up his BKB, he's already got the Armlet, Treads, Midas finished. It's only 14 minutes. Good God, that's a lot of farm. He's got 104 CS. I'm a little bit worried because this Sven is farming a lot faster than the Void right now.
And I'm more worried for Crit. There's the skewer, pulling him back in. Firefly all you really want right now, but he is going to go down. Even the Flame Break being used against Kuro is still burning from that Napalm. Almost going down, bringing himself to below the 70 life points. But they still kill off Batrider, and the Invis Rune help them set up for it.
Man, top lane, nice glimpse on a pass.
It's going to be enough though. Void jumps in, he even pops the Chrono for this. Wants to ensure it, and Pass, he's able to take up a lot of it, and now turns around. Lifesteal with 1 right click onto RMC wasn't enough.
And
Void opted to go for the Mask of Madness build on top of the Midas. That really makes him squishy. Like, if he gets caught out by any stuns whatsoever, he doesn't get lucky backtracks, which he's not maxing, by the way. It's only level 2. He's got level 3 time lock. Sven also gets a kill on a tower, as Magnus gets a tower kill as well.
And Mag's also looking to dive a little bit further, looking at Cry. TP support's coming in, which will force Mousesports to fall back out. And Crit, unfortunately for him, hasn't got that Blink Dagger up yet, even though he's so damn close. Fader kind of wants to go back in on this. He knows he's got that double damage. And there's 3 heroes grouping up in the mid. There's the Glimpse, going to pull back in again. Reverse Polarity pulls 2 in, and the Shockwave. Huge damage out of We As Asians. Already Disruptor going down. Batrider trying to retreat out. Not going to be possible. Fader with a double kill, making the most of that double damage. 28 HP, Cry drops down to now 1, and 1 Venomancer Ward puts out the last hit. And looks like Black wants to be part of the fight as well. Shockwave, not going to get it. Fader will take the triple kill away from Black after he set it up for it. Void, the only one to live from that because he wasn't present.
Now, this is what I was talking about in just pure damage output. If you look at the difference between how fast the heroes die, even with the Batrider there having the Firefly out, he didn't get a chance to stack up his napalms. He just died too fast. The initiation coming out from Mouse in terms of teamfight potential is a little bit better. I would say We As Asian has an advantage in terms of being able to find picks because you have Glimpse, you have Lasso. But the thing is, the Batrider at this point still doesn't have his Blink. He's 500 away, and they're losing all their outer tier towers. This is Mouse's plan all along. They knew that if they just kept their tri-lane and bottom, it would eventually create room for Paz. He's managed managed to kill the top tower now. He's level 9. He's continuing to apply pressure, and We Has Asian feels like they have to group up to be able to stop even 3 or 4 heroes coming out of Mouse, much less the entire team.
Yeah, they're basically a 5-man Dota, or else they just can't do it. And especially when Black starts spending a little bit more cash. I'm looking at him right now with 3.1k and trying to be stylish on the bottom lane. Now 3.2k. It's just so much cash flying in for this event. What is even his gold per minute? His net worth is almost hitting 10k before the 20-minute mark. And as far as his net worth goes, where's our current goal? Experience per minute, 127 last hits. At least I had to find that little sucker. There we go, goal per minute, 617. He's 617 gold per minute in this early part of the game.
Yeah, it's 16 minutes. That is absolutely insane. This has gone on for a little bit too long, I think, and he's going to have his BKB soon. He's only got a couple hundred gold away, and then he's going to have it. When he walks into a team fight with an armlet this early, BKB Midas, his attack speed is already so good because of the treads, the Midas, and of course you get a little bit of attack speed from the armlet as well. He's going to tear people apart. He's got level 2 God Strength. He's level 12 at 17 minutes, and he was part of a tri-lane.
It's just unbelievable what Black is capable of farming, but it's getting it done. Coddle trying to farm up a little bit more. I don't think if that was entirely intentional. The Cry pulled the creep wave away, the neutral camp away from the Coddle Blast. There's a lot of support coming up towards the top lane. Noticing the pass isn't alone anymore. Kuro as well as Alex have moved up here, while Black continues to farm up inside the jungle. And Fader starting to build up to that refresher orb. Getting closer to finishing up that little Oblivion stuff, and then the last big thing, which is the recipe cost. Unicorn's going to be really careful. Void jumps in, Chrono's up, Alex got to get here, get that Gale off, slowing down Faceless Void. The damage is still enough, Power Shot flies in from the real Windrunner, and now Shackle flies, unable to latch, past being stunned for a moment, but they can't see him. Venomancer gets 4 in the ultimate, now trying to get out of the wall, cannot do so, has to turn around, but in comes Mag. Fader, perfectly done, double kill for him, amazing hit. There goes Cry as well, going to be stunned off, and maybe Crit. Pass, going to burn down. Crit's actually able to bring down that Broodmother and Cry back in range of the Tier 2 tower. But then again, Crit not going to get away from this one. Shockwave as well as Venomancer just keeps on right-clicking through them. There was just nowhere else to run. He just had to find whatever kill he could, and he found Broodmother.
Now, the real downside to this is losing a team fight like that in that fashion. There's no glyph up for We As Asian right now, so Sven has the God Strength. Didn't even have to pop it for that team fight. They have the Empower right now in Fata. It's level 3, and I fear that they might actually lose a base tower here because even though their heroes are up, they have no sphere for the defense.
That's true. It's amazing how much more powerful Sven gets when you get 4 points of overpower and just push and push and push. And maybe we're going to go again. Koro, he's down. He's already managed to pick up one. Cry is there. They're trying to put up that wall from Disruptor, but Cry too far out. Coddle Blast going to hurt a decent amount, but not enough. And now Shackle is also stolen by Rubik. Another fun ability that if We Has Asian tries to come out to stop them, it's just not going to work. And we assume Roshan is now on the cards for Mousesports.
That Mouse is just playing pretty much perfectly this game. They did everything they had to do. They created space for their Brood. They allowed Black to totally free farm, and Fata had his blink at a relatively good timing as
Unicorn, Shackle flies only a mini stun is all he really needed, and then getting skewered back in. But able to time warp himself back out. Surprised that telekinesis didn't come straight away, get that pickup, and then lock him down.
Yeah, it still would have been hard to kill. A couple of backtracks, the Void can actually still escape in that situation. It's just going to be down to luck if you get the kills, and looks like somebody's going to lasso bottom. Yeah,
it's going to be Broodmother locked up inside the wall, and the ulti from Hip Hop Not Pop, just to ensure they get that kill on Broodmother. So second kill in the same couple of minutes. TP already out from one, and Disruptor, he has no mana. He needs to use his wand charges if he wants to TP himself back out, but he's delaying it. He's waiting as long as possible.
Yeah, lucky for him, it doesn't look like Mouse is any the wiser, so Hip Hop Not Pop going to be able to get out of trouble pretty much for free here. And at this point in the game, We As Asian, they have one hope left, and that's basically defending the base at this point because all the outer tier towers have now dropped in favor of Mouse. They can take Roshan whenever they want. The reaction coming out from We Has Asian is going to be so slow, and the speed at which Mouse is going to kill this is going to be absolutely insane. Black now has his Mask of Madness finished.
Oh man, this is just brutal damage. We're 20 minutes in, and we've got Armlet, BKB, Hand of Midas, Treads, and Mask of Madness. This cash is just flying in for him. He's still 624 gold per minute. It's never slowing down. They're getting towers, they're getting kills. And he's not even the one getting most of the kills. He's got 2 kills, 1 death, and 1 assist. The kills were, in fact, it's 7-0 in favor of the Mag. Hence now, he is still, in fact, that's almost refresher. We're looking at, what, that's 20, no, there's, yeah, 21-minute refresher orb up on a blink daggering Mag.
Yeah, this is what happens when you kind of get pulled apart after the laning phase. The supports had to walk all over the map for We as Asian. They would TP to bottom to stop the tri-lane push and then walk all the way back top. That's so much wasted time. Every single time they committed to doing something like that, just wanting to say, hey, we don't want your Sven to get another tower kill, it just allowed Brood to get her farm in, and of course Fanta was farming quite well himself. His refresher orb is done at this point. It's being sent to him right now. So we're talking double reverse polarity. We have level 4 empower, which means 50% extra cleave on top of Sven's built-in cleave, which is already at 70%.
Well, looks like I'm hearing a shackle right now as Cry trying to do something, and now nice wall as well as ulting it from Hip Hop Not Pop into their Oldman. Alex and Venomancer, that's going to be Fader going down. Already 2 heroes sniped off, and now Kuro steals the ultimate of Chrono, almost dying to one. The Ursa swinging at him, but it's still going to be the double kill for Unicorn. So 3 heroes lost for the price of a Windrunner. They're happy with that one, definitely happy with that trade.
That's a trade they desperately needed too. The Sven unfortunately wasn't there in time. The Sphere was actually quite well placed. Kuro was still in a good position, but again, even the Void alone is enough to pretty much solo him. He can't really run away from it. You can't, of course, use his own Sphere against him because it doesn't affect him at all. And We as Asian is going to take the proper path this time and try to kill Roche.
Yep. And they can do it pretty damn fast. We know Tommy can just take this guy up. He's already taking nice and fast with Maelstrom, as well as having that Mask of Madness of his own. So he can farm at a very, very fast rate. And I like this kind of build with the Maelstrom, just to have that extra attack speed later on when you finally get into Mjolnir. But it gives you that next level to go with. Instead of just going that Battle Fury and having the semi-cleave, he's looking for the lightning bounce instead. But they don't finish off Roshan. They bring him in a half-life, and then they're really not sure about this. They've got their own Dire Wards looking for Sven and watching him just outside the Rosh pit, but they're not going to try and contest it. They're letting it go. Maybe they're fearful a little bit too much about that top lane.
Well, they don't have Void's ultimate, so it's really difficult to try to engage into this position. If Fata sits out of the pit, which he doesn't even have to.
Oh man, there's a blink. There's a big skill, but doesn't get him all the way down. There's a lasso, but Chris up on the high ground. He is pulled back down again by Kurokai, but they're all fighting basically in the middle of the Firefly, not where they want to be. And then Hip Hop Not Pop in behind has given himself a glimpse. He's going to want one in a moment. Who does he want? Kuro. Kuro's the one dragged back in the middle of the entire team. Double kill for them, and this time they will take Roshan.
That was a really nice team fight coming out from We as Asian. The skewer wasn't quite long enough to get back right to the low ground. He had his Firefly on anyway, so there's a good chance that Fanta would have got pulled out of position regardless. But nonetheless, even without having to expend Chronosphere during that team fight, they managed to take it. They're going to get Roche off of this as well. And now you have to start to consider the fact that Void is recovering his farm a little bit. His net worth is still quite a bit behind Black's, but because of the fact that he has that Chronosphere, it makes his team fight potential that much better, because Sven, as much damage as he does, he's relying on his team to disable for him, where Void can do it himself. He's going to have his Mjolnir completely finished after that, and if you get a couple of lucky lightning procs, the damage output coming out from the attack speed that he has in this build is tremendous. It's very similar to what we saw Havos do yesterday when he rushed Mask of Madness. It's a very high risk build because he doesn't have a BKB, so he still has the chance to die, but if he's left to his own devices in a team fight, he will tear people apart.
Yeah, that he definitely will, man. That he definitely will. And this is actually a dangerous point for Mousesports. 14 for 14, 24 minutes in. The advantage, I was looking at it before, but this is, remember, the new meta. You lose the early game, you win the mid game. That's what it's all about. You're just going to find that time to strike. And we're already seeing like thousands of gold points coming back, and not to mention the experience. Can't actually believe that the gold doesn't seem to have dropped that much because the towers haven't gone down. They haven't lost a single tier 1 tower Mousesports, but experience, the 10k advantage that was there is now zeroed.
That's what happens when you lose two team fights back to back, and not just lose them, but they lost them badly. They lost like 3 or 4 heroes and managed to only get like 1 or 2, and they were supports in both situations. So Mouse is now in this awkward situation where they're still continuing to farm on Black. His gold per minute is still doing quite well, but Void at this point, if you look at the net worth, is completely caught up.
Yep. In fact, he's in front. He's in front by 200 up against that Sven who had so much farm. But then again, it might change around a little bit. What do we got currently on him? Yeah, there's that net worth change. Something was on the courier. It was a Crystallis. That's why the net worth was different. 2,000. Now it goes back up again for Sven. So once Daedalus arrives for him, then he's got this huge damage, combining already with the overpower. But the Mjolnir's finished up a face of body. He actually finished the entire thing, and then has another 2,000 gold again.
I'm not sure what he's been going for next. He might feel safe in that he does enough damage and wants to go for a BKB. I think that would probably be the best option, just to ensure that somebody like the Sven doesn't get stuck outside of the sphere and is able to stun you, because when that sphere goes down, that's going to be the make or break moment for We Has Asians. The spheres have to be there in a big way.
If he can get caught out, no, they didn't keep on running. The ward goes down, so they've got the vision of where We Has Asian is, but We Has Asian's also got a ward up on that high ground themselves. So now the vision is there. They've got to get away. Tommy, it's going to be RMC firstly done, but there's Unicorn. Great ulti. It means Mousesports can't get in too close. And Sven, he is brought down before the fight begins. Now over on a Fader. They're going to lock him down next. Silenced up. Can't do anything. Moving on. One to the next, Bada bing, bada boom. Kurukai in the back end. And who will it be? It'll be Alex going down first. Then over to Kurukai. Fantastic play from We Has Agents. They're just going one after the other after the other. Only hero alive, Broodmother, who left.
Oh, that was such a good fight. That Chronosphere was perfect. It hit the two most important heroes, hit the Magnus, hit the Sven both. They had no way of getting a reverse polarity off. Sven didn't get to do anything during that fight. Completely locked down, didn't even pre-BKB, just got hammered on by the Void in the Sphere, had no way of getting through it, no team to help him at all. And the Rubik didn't even have an opportunity to spell seal. Great support coming after We Has Asian as well. That's the kind of coordination that will win you games.
Yep, and that's what we're talking about with We As Asians. It's their strength. They always, they get a decent draft to work for them, but it's their coordination when it comes to these games that just excels over so many other teams. It's what lets them win so many competitions where teams go, well, We As Agents, yeah, they're going to come in third is what we kind of expect to happen. I know we were saying it, I was saying it myself, but you weren't saying it's going to be that close. And then instant smoke, T1 tower, move on, don't lose this momentum. That's what We Has Agents is currently looking at right now.
I like this decision. They want to try to go and take more tier 1s at this point, and that's something we haven't really talked a lot about. I mean, we did mention that they hadn't been able to get any towers of Mouse down, but now it's a point in the game where you win those team fights. The gold that you're going to get from that, because you're able to push these outer two towers, is going to be insane. And it's not even like they were that far behind to begin with in terms of overall gold. They've turned the experienced around already. They're probably in the lead now, by all means, because they just won another team fight back-to-back. But this is now a point where Mouse is feeling scared. They're actually sitting on their side of the map. That opens up tons of room for We Has Asian to farm as efficiently as they would like. They can take it to the ultra late. They know that Void is one of the best scaling carries in the game because of his ultimate, because of his passives. It allows you to just mitigate the damage and do a tremendous amount on your own. He's got 4,100 gold right now sitting on him. We're going to see what he's going to buy next soon.
And this is going to be Mousesports actually grouping up. Is this going to be a 5-man push down the middle, go 5-man Dota and try and force and finally use this refresher orb? Doesn't look like it. They're not finding a good opening. We as Asians, they're sticking together. This really is 5-man Dota with just a lone faceless Void feeling the power to get away. I'm really looking forward to seeing him getting that big damage item. I'd like to see Daedalus, really. Daedalus coming up or having even if he needs to for his team, the Assault Cuirass wouldn't be a bad option, because then you're still looking at nice attack speed.
We get the attack speed, you get the minus armor as well. There is some physical damage output outside of the Void on the side of We Has Asian, but I feel as though BKB is still the safest option. You can't always assume that you're going to hit the two most important heroes with a Sphere every fight. You can't just assume that. I mean, if you can assume that and you do it every single time, then you're the best Void player in the world. But the reality is, it just doesn't happen. So having that up gives him the safety to just get into a fight and make sure that he's not going to get taken down by anything like the Venomous Scale, Poison Nova, random shockwaves, things like that. He needs to be able to stay alive to do his damage.
And again, he also needs to die right now if we look at it, because we are currently looking at the fact that Void is going to lose at Aegis the Immortal in a couple of moments. He's only got 30 more seconds of that Aegis the Immortal before it will be claimed by Roshan. And wow, is Batrider really getting that much farm? He's the one looking for the Assault Cuirass for We Has Asian.
Yeah, he started to pick it up, actually, I think a little while ago. But, I mean, it's definitely a great item. You know that right now Mouse is looking at nothing but physical damage output, and Batrider is a hero who has to put himself in harm's way to initiate, and he doesn't have, like, the best strength gain or anything like that. I mean, it's still okay, but you really need armor, especially if you're going to be blinking into a Magnus and a Sven with God Strength.
Mousesports trying to make their move now. Smoked up, going to run up the middle lane. Is there any sentry wards or anything going to reveal them? There's only one observer ward outside of the base for We As Asian, and that's up on the high ground. And Void, the one to be caught out, already being reverse polarity. They've got to refresh or if he wants to use it. Not going to be done, but Void, he's trying to backtrack something out. The shackle is there, but already Void goes down. Instant buy back into the game. And the timing of it, 30 seconds after Aegis was reclaimed. Oh, the humanity. And then instant smoke by We As Asian. They're now looking to move out. They want an opening back again. They want to find one hero out of it. They tried before. They couldn't find anyone. They were going through the entire jungle, and Mousesports were 5 heroes in the middle lane. Everyone's staying together.
The problem with deaths like that is that while Mouse did manage to kill one of the most important heroes, force a buyback, they didn't get anything else out of it. They basically got one hero kill. They're walking back to their side of the map. We as Asian already has towers, objectives that they can actually go for, whereas Mouse is just at this point where the only thing they can do is try to go for Roche or try to go kill the base, and neither of those things are happening right now. They're kind of just all sitting top, expecting that a smoke is going to be coming that way, but it's actually towards bottom. So they're going to get a tower, even though the Void had to buy back. Ultimately, in terms of overall gold, we as Asian actually got a little bit ahead there, and if they keep pushing towards the tier 2, Mouse is going to have to react because it's going to take a while for them to get to the base of We as Asian themselves.
Well, there's no reason why they can't push to the tier 2. The question is, does anyone from Mousesports come to defend it? Because that's exactly what We as Asian wants. They want them to split up. It'll take a full 5-man TP. Pass is giving momentum towards that top lane, but what happens when they all try and come down and hold their tier 2 tower? But it's like We as Asians, they're not going to force the point. They're moving back again, they're letting Void farm up, and they might just be waiting until he gets that full butterfly up, because he already started off with the Eagle Song.
Well, going for a butterfly in this situation gives him more damage, gives him more attack speed, but again, we saw the possibility. If he gets caught out like that in a team fight, there is no way that his team's going to be able to save him. If he gets telekinesis, he gets stunned out by a Stormhammer, anything like that, the damage follow-up is definitely there for Mouse. That's why I was thinking BKB would be the safest option. But again, the spheres are there. You don't need the BKB 100%. It just makes it a little bit more lenient when you initiate that you don't have to worry about just getting absolutely disintegrated, but in one disable.
Yeah. Suppose you just look at the evasion instead. Want to stand his ground like a full man and just saying, I've got to get my chrono right anyway, so let's throw all the eggs in one basket as Mousesports, 5-man again, group up on this top lane. Fader looking for initiation, but We as Asians are really not giving it. They know everyone is missing from the lanes, apart from maybe one hero, Sven, who shows himself up on the top lane, and now a little bit too far out there for the Void, but straight back inside the base. They know something's up, and Connell holds the lanes. This is We as Asian, something which Mousesports know they can't push into. Like, you want to go up into this small, narrow area where the chrono is going to cover the entire thing. What are you supposed to do in that?
That's very difficult.
You can't get in. You're going to get Flame Break back out again. Firefly can always be set up as preparation. And you've got Windrunner's Power Shell. You've got Coddle's Illuminate. You've even got Disruptor, who's going to make a wall which doesn't let you inside the base or hold you inside the base. There's all these different controlling things that come out from We as Asian. The Mousesports just cannot get inside the base to. They need to get pickoffs before they enter the base. It's the only way around it.
Well, I think the next team fight we're going to be looking at is most likely around Roshan. It's going to be up here any second. You can just see Void down here. He's popped his Mask of Madness. I don't know if they actually do have vision.
Oh, jump down. 4-5 in the chrono. Hitting on top of Pass. The Shackle is there too. Kuro and Fader is locked together. He moved on to Black after he started up on Pass. Then the Stormbolt, and they just turn around. Gold Strength and Warcry. Double kill coming out for Crit. Void the one to go down. Cry's trying to run away. Windrun will let him do so. Shackle holds Black in position. Hold him there. Wall is there. Crit actually with a triple kill at the end of the day. There will be Windrunner taking a fall, but as Batrider behind the play, picking off the Mousesports heroes. And now he's watching Black, trying to be a pain in the ass. One Napalm stack, one Urn Charge, another Napalm stack. And even Flame Break pushing him back in again. Is he really going to try and go for this? He might be able to. Another Napalm stack could do it. Courier's going to say hello. There's a quick stun out from Black. Spawn Spiraling's going to happen. He's already got 4 Napalm stacks up. He's silenced. There's going to be the 5th one. Keeps it going. Another Flame Break. Now into the Firefly. And Crit. He's actually going to take 4 kills over this course of this engagement.
Now that was a really, really nice play there by Crit. He actually single-handedly won the team fight. The 5-man sphere was amazing, don't get me wrong, but the fact of the matter is he attacked the wrong target for the first 2 seconds of the sphere. He wasn't able to get Black down before the sphere wore off, and because of how far away he was from the rest of the team, the sphere was actually blocking his own team from getting any follow-up damage in, so they were unable to get the biggest damage dealer down in time. He eventually did get kited out, and the Sven ended up dropping, but we knew that was going to happen. Batrider versus Sven, you have no way of basically staying in range, because when you get to 5 or 6 Napalm stacks, you're just going to get kited hard.
Here's that little fun play. Tommy using his ultimate, just going to pull in Unicorn, and right next to the double damage. How fast can you kill Roshan with the double damaging Faceless Void who pops Mask of Madness? I'm going to say bloody fast because it's almost dead. In fact, is dead. And that's also his full butterfly with the Aegis, the Immortal.
Now the damage output from this Void is going to be pretty insane, especially if they manage to keep a double damage for a team fight, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're all going back to the base. Looks like Keeper is giving him a free ride, so United Keeper Airlines.
Pulls him down to kill off Roshan, TP's back up again, pulls him back out again with the remaining part of his ultimate. Wherever Unicorn needs to go, Coddle is there. He's even going to get to use the remaining part of the DD rune to farm up the top lane. Yeah, there's that butterfly flowing out now. So fully shown out to Mousesports. And you're wondering too in Mousesports' mind, like how do they try and approach this? Do they try and smoke and gank? I was saying before, they need to find a kill before they enter the base. That's the next goal. They've taken all the outer towers. It's the only thing remaining for them. They've got to bring down tier 3 and Rax. That's the objective.
Now, finding a pick right now is so hard, though. When you get to the 35, 40-minute mark, that's really when teams start to play more compact Dota. They stick together, because if you lose a fight at this point in the game, your carries have so much farm that you can just do devastating damage to the base. You can walk in, you can kill the tier 2, kill the base tower, even take a Rax.
This is what they're going to do. Blink up. There's already Skewer coming in. Reverse Polarity only pulls in Hip Hop, not Pop, and then he gets stunned up. Venomancer, Oldie flies out. They're still trying to bring down Unicorn. He's silenced for the moment. Now he's going to get that Chrono out. Is there going to be time? Yes, he does, but he's still ticking on down, trying to focus on Black. Aegis Immortal will pop. Crit is actually held in position right next to Pass. He was forced to Firefly the entire time as well. There's the Void jump up. Looks for Pass. Shackle won't lash, but the bash does do its job. Black, quick stun out and Crit. They want to follow him down. Power shot through, not going to find him. And maybe the jump down. Crit, flame break, a little bit too short. Doesn't push him back, but they see Kuro off to the side. There's that time walk, slows him down. Didn't get the time lock straight away, but power shot already hit. 4-star TPing out, and Kuro getting attacked by the Ancients, but he will be able to live through this one. There's still going to be tier 1 and tier 2 tower going down for the price of an Aegis.
You know what was really surprising about that team fight is the sphere was there, but by the time the sphere went off, the Void had died. So the entire sphere was negated because he couldn't do any damage. Again, that was the second time in a row where he was either not attacking the proper person or he was just dead and respawning from the Aegis. So that actually went better for Mouse than it should have. The reverse polarity initiation hit possibly the worst hero that they could have hit. You don't want to just hit the disruptor, you want to go for the high priority targets. Void and Batrider at this point are the two most important people you want to get inside of that, and it just didn't happen. At the end of the team fight, the Magnus, I believe it actually expended 2 reverse polarities, and they didn't really get anything done for it.
It felt like it was forced. It really felt forced. Like, we know there could be an engagement here. Let's just try it. Skewer randomly inside the secret shop. Maybe we're going to get lucky with 2-3 heroes caught in the side there, and the luck was just not there. They weren't in the right position for it all. And really, Void's biggest problem when he jumped in was the fact that the engagement began and Brewmother instantly orchided him.
Yeah.
And he had a great moment for a Chrono before Crit jumped in. And then Crit's like, well, I have to get in there. If I don't get in there, Void's going to go down. I've got to give him another target. I already managed to take out 4 of their heroes during the last engagement. They're going to give me some level of respect and try and kill me. And he jumped in, and in that respect, he bought Void a little bit more time.
He did buy the Void time. The only reason they won that team fight, though, is the Aegis. If they didn't have it for that, I think that we would have seen Mouse come out on top. Of course, that's easy to say. And Black was in a proper position that time. He was so far away that he forced the Batrider's initiation, the Chronosphere. He didn't really take much damage inside of it himself because, again, the Void was dead, and he had time to try to do something after the fact, but he just lost too many of his teammates in the process. And the reverse polarity, again, coming out from Fata, it could have been much, much better than it was. I'm still kind of curious as to why he decided to blink into what had to have been almost fog in that case and go for probably guaranteed supports, because he already had seen that Void was in the lane and the Orchid came out on the Void already. So I'm a little bit confused with the coordination coming out from Mouse. I know they typically play team fights a lot better, but in all honesty, that was just a bit sloppy to me.
Yeah, agreed. We have seen that from a couple of teams already in this competition. Now, we're talking about EG and AL over the course of yesterday, but in that moment there, I think Mouse will be going, look at the replay and then just try and forget what happened. But try and move on as well. Try and find an opening. They're not finding anything here in the mid lanes, which is where they're hoping for it, because we've got another smoke and Wingization's heading down south. The smoke hasn't been popped off just yet, and there's no real wall, but who are they going to find? It's going to be Fader as well as, in fact, the entire team. Mouse was just smoked up, and Void, if he jumped in just then, maybe the opportunity to get that awesome Chrono. Everyone is grouped up together, but then the jump out is Kuro, in fact, now trying to be shackled up by Cry. The battle is basically split. Black can't find anyone. He's actually lassoed and held. The shackle is holding both the Faithless Void as well as the Windrunner together, and now Black is brought down. Chrono catching out 2 support heroes. Fader at least managed to pull in 3 heroes in the reverse polarity. The mech charge directly after. Shackle flies out, lashes on Pass, but they still can't see him. They can't kill him off. The Weird Agents happy. They bring down Sven, they force him to buy back. They lost Coddle, that was all.
Black didn't really have anything to do in that fight. He got lassoed as soon as he popped the BKB. As soon as the lasso was gone, he got sphered. Yep. There was absolutely nothing that Black could do. They know their priority target. The way we talked about it yesterday is if you're Sven and you don't hit anybody, you lose. If you can hit people, you win. And Black has just been unable to get into melee range of anyone. The Orchid came out again really, really quickly from Pass. They managed to stop him. They shackled him after the fact to prevent him from sphering, but it just didn't matter.
This is their moment now, the Mousesports. Chrono's down. They believe this is their only opportunity to get in. So here we're going to go into the base. Shackle won't latch. Already the first initiation gone. And the new creep wave's going to make their move in as well. And Blink in, reverse polarity, 2 caught out. It was Unicorn, but he got 4 staffed out to safety, so they're going to go on the Batrider instead and try and bring him down before this battle begins. They're not going to work. Maybe it is going to be enough in a moment. Shackle, perfect from Cry, pass as well as Black, held in together. They still haven't brought down the tower. Buyback by both Void as well as the Batrider, glimpsing back. It is Black in the fight, but then Cry's just like, well, I don't want to be part of this one. There's a Shackle flying again, another great Shackle. Cry latching it up with Black and Kuro this time. Flame Ray pushing him in. Unicorn's able to bring down that Zen, and then jumps out, looking for the supports. Alex being mana leaked out, will be last right-click down. Faceless Void will take this one. Winrun took the first one, and they're searching for Kuro at the same time. Cry on the run. Shackle might only be mini, but it'll buy him time to catch up. Maybe another Shackle trying to be returned by Kuro. Not going to be it. Flame Break a little bit too far out in front. But that damage just from the right click, and it's just not going to be enough. Just not going to be enough. It is going to be Kuro dying inside the trees. Power shot and last right-click out from the Void.
The real downside of that team fight is Black bought back to push down that lane and try to make something happen, but the Void had buyback because when you buy back first, obviously the person you're pushing into is going to have it as well. So now he's dead. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything out of it. We already see somebody moving towards bottom, but at this point it's just a disruptor, so they're not going to be able to get Roshan either. It's not up for a couple of minutes. They're going to check it, but to no avail. Unfortunately, as good of a defense as that was, they did lose their Void once. They forced a buyback, and it doesn't look like we as agents are going to be able to capitalize on it, even though Black can't buy out himself.
Yeah. But Void's got more money than God right now, so it's more than fine. He had himself about 4.5k during that engagement, then came back, and then still, after death, sits on 3.3k now. He can look towards his next big item. And the item which I think you're still hoping is going to come out and face this Void actually rise up on pass. So BKB as well as the Orchid now rise for the Broodmother, but I don't know. I haven't seen pass to anything during these fights, but that's Broodmother.
Yeah, Brood is just not known as a very good team fight hero. She's usually sitting in a side lane, applying pressure to the base, but at this point, Mouse can't afford to do that. If they split up any of their heroes, they're pretty much going to lose team fights, and not to say that they haven't already been losing them just because of how good the Spheres have been most of the time. They prioritize their targets properly, and all honesty, their coordination just seems to be a step up from what Mouse has been this entire game, although I feel like Mouse definitely did a little bit better during the laning phase, and Black obviously had ridiculous farm. Yeah. The downside is now, he is getting kited so unbelievably bad that all that gold basically means nothing. Yep.
Lock him down, hold him in position, and because he's also been able to have this happen to him, there's just nothing more. There's your BKB on Void. He's got no other items. Like, there's items. I don't think we've seen it change in over 10 minutes. And for a Sven who's got that much level of farm, it's supposed to keep going. This momentum's supposed to keep going, and now his experience per minute is still the high. Actually, no, it's not the highest. In fact, it's sitting in third position, 493. And his gold per minute, Void's topping him. He's dropped from over 600 to 526 now. This is just Sven losing his momentum. And with that kind of thing, Void, late game, we know what he's capable of. Back in ye old days when Spectre, Void, and Anti-Mage were around 3 major guys that no one could ever kill. You have to find one of these guys. It just feels the same way with Void right now. How are you supposed to kill him? And what did he just buy? I don't know, it's part of the BKB. Never mind. Hello, morning.
They're waiting for the Roshan to respawn. It's going to be up pretty soon. In the meantime, Mouse is trying to push towards this top lane. They know if the game keeps going on like this, then they're eventually going to get overpowered by the Void in the super late game. Because if you look at Black's inventory right now, he doesn't have much else to buy. He's got the Armlet. Because he went Armlet and Mask of Madness, usually that Armlet slot or the Mask of Madness would be used for a harder carry item, but in reality, he can buy one more item and then his inventory is completely
Void jumps in! He's looking at Black again, looking to beat him down with the BKB. They cannot stop him. Kuro almost being pushed back out. Shackle won't lash, but actually a mini stun's enough to bring down Black before the fight begins. Wonderful ultimate as well from the Disruptor. Fader is locked in position. He can't get anything. He's trying to reverse polarity and now going to actually impale himself into the rest of the base if we has Asian. Looking for a kill, but not going to find it. He's just going to find everyone, and then the refresher trying to pull back out again. It's Unicorn with a double kill, 3 for the price of Zip.
Once again, well done by We Has Asian. They hit the Sven, and they pretty much got the Rubik as well. There was no counter sphere coming out. If Kuro had been in a little bit better position, a little bit farther away, he would have been able to steal it, stop the follow-up damage in the Disruptor, but unfortunately, because of the team fight timing that Mouse just took, this also means that We Has Asian gets Roche.
Yep, and they're going to beat him down so fast. Not only just Roshan Aegis, Cheese comes with this version as well. We're looking to see who they're going to throw that one onto. We assume Hip Hop not Pop if he's going to sell something right now, which he does. He sells his urn, and he'll grab the cheese. And Aegis the Immortal on Faceless Void. That should be all they need to just push in and take this fight. Maybe wait the 35 seconds for Chrono to come back up again. And then go.
By the time they get to the base, they could just rush the tier 2, honestly. It should be up relatively soon after they get there. And I mean, this Batrider 2 is so unbelievably farmed. He's got an Assault Cuirass and a Vitality Booster and Cheese. So he's got 2,300 health, he's got 23 armor, a Blink Dagger, and he's got basically a second life as long as he times it properly.
And he's a recipe away from a heart.
Yeah.
If he's able to finish that, it's... Like, how then do you kill off the Batrider? You got so many life points, you got so much armor points. It's kind of like looking at Puppy's axe from the other day. It's... You just don't know how you can bring it down without your entire team focusing him, and then you've got a Faceless Void that's also in the middle of this fight, walking around with Mjolnir. Look for the lightning proc, and then the BKB, the Butterfly, the Mask of Madness, and still got 2.8k gold, so he can buy back and rejoin the engagement as well. Tier 2 tower, he can take it up. We're kind of almost forgetting about backtrack. Just backtrack 3 hits from the tower, and then tower's gone.
Well, it's also worrisome for Mouse because even under the circumstance that they get a really good reverse polarity, there's 2 heroes that are probably going to be able to live through it, and Crit at this point and the Void. If they take the Void down once, he's going to pop his Aegis, he's going to come back up, then you have to worry about making sure you use a second ultimate, which they do have at their disposal. Mouse has pretty good base defense, but yeah, I see you're looking at the experience graph right now, and the turn has just been absolutely insane.
From 10,000 up to 27,000, it's, yeah. Huge players coming out from We As Asians. The game is never over until you're able to take all the fights and get yourself inside the base and win the bloody game. It's never over until the Fortress takes a fall. But Black, you can see now Mousesports trying to prep themselves for this middle lane Batrider coming up. Venomancer Ward trying to make sure they got a little bit more vision, see where We As Asian is moving. And this is just a split up. It's like we're looking at the arcs of the teams. Cry looking to move up as well. Windrun looking for a shackle, can't manage to find it. The 2 melee initiators, both Black as well as Fader, they want an opening, they want to jump in. But they've also not wanting to get caught out by that Chrono. It's almost like they want to bait out the Chrono if that's possible.
I don't know if it's really worth baiting out the Chrono in the situation. I mean, Black technically has enough money to buy out if he wants to, but he's really looking to finish up his item build. He wants the 6 items so he can contend with that Chronosphere, or just be able to stay alive inside of it. If he wants to go for an Assault Cuirass, maybe even a Heart, just tank up a bit so he can live.
he got as concerned as I did just then, time walking himself away from that Faceless Void. He made the gesture. He made the gesture to jump in.
That's a really tense situation right now. It looks like they're going.
Yep, there's that Chrono. Black being focused down. Fader, wonderful time. He's able to slow down Void, but then again, Shackle on Black, and the silence, they're going to bring him down. They do it. Black's on the sidelines. Fader doing everything he can, hiding inside that BKB. Sven will buy back into the game, and Void beating down Kuro. There's just too much damage coming out from We As Asians. Double buyback from these boys. They've still got the Aegis the Immortal up on Unicorn, and Pass, he's trying to get towards the front lines. Right behind Batrider, throws out the Spiralings, but wonderful blink by Crit. Right on the money, gets himself back out to safety, and they even throw up a wall behind him, just in case they want to follow.
It seemed right there like Fanta's second reverse polarity was a little bit delayed. I don't know if he didn't have mana for it straight away, but he could have definitely saved Black during that Sphere. Sphere in level 3 only lasts for 5 seconds without an Aghanims, then you have 4 seconds of reverse polarity. He landed it pretty much as soon as it went down, but he got out of it, and then he just started beating on Black, and there was nothing really that he could do about it. But if you let Black die in those team fights like that, when you have a position to help him, and you force the buyback, he's already out of position. He has to walk back to the team fight. He doesn't have even room for a teleportation score right now.
He was actually out of mana. He couldn't do it because he blinked in, and that mana actually expends it, because he doesn't even have over 1,000. He's sitting at 991.
He did use the second one, but it was just late. It was too late to save Black.
Yeah. Had to get that Arcane Boot charge off. Maybe that could have just been it, the delay on the Arcanes. And 5k gold now up on Unicorn. If he wants to, he can just buy a heart and tank everything. But no, he doesn't want to lose the Mask of Madness. He loves the attack speed.
Yeah, inside of a Chronosphere, attack speed is your best friend, basically. The more time locks you get, the better, because now it does double damage inside of the Sphere itself. You have Mjolnir that you can proc as well. So I'm not really sure what he's going to be going for, but I do know that We As Asian really wants to push this. They have a very limited time left on this Aegis. They want to try to make the best of it.
Yep. How long have we actually got counting it down? So we've got 1 minute and maybe 10 seconds. So the second we hit 51:20, then We As Asian have to either fall back or make sure that Void Aegis is popped and they have an advantage. The tier 2 tower is forced. And Cotoblast letting them push in a little bit faster. Unicorn just goes straight towards the front lines and tank this. He can bring down that tier 3 tower just by himself. And Support can just harass Because it's not everybody here. In fact, is that, yeah, we have the TP now back.
Fortified.
Kuro's on the side. Gale hits. Void Chrono holding Black. He wants to get in close, but then Kuro, I think he just managed to steal Chrono. Yes, he just did. He managed to steal Chrono, and what a great ulti! Huge ulti coming out from the mag. Double kill going to go the way of Black. Everyone was lined up. There's the Aegis Immortal. Buyback's going to happen, but they just beat him down. Black with a triple kill out of that engagement. What a reverse polarity.
I gotta say, we've kind of been ripping on Fata for his ultimates this game, but I don't think anyone who's watching this game is going to say anything other than, wow, that was one of the best reverse polarities you could have possibly gotten. In that situation, his refresher's off cooldown, so now he's going to have another one for when they push inside of the base. Everyone, though, from WeHas Agent has bought back. The one downside, 60 seconds left on Chronosphere.
Yeah, this is that moment. You have a 25,000 experience advantage, and it counts for absolutely nothing because your abilities are on cooldown. Flame Break, Coddle Blast, things like this can slow it down, but Coddle's on the sidelines. We don't have this big straight back push. There's a fall, maybe even blink in. Fader, he's already got a Unicorn. Skewered back in again. He went through crit 2, the Shackle, held for a moment. There's your lasso, the Chrono. That's Kuro's holding the support players out of place, and they cannot help. Coddle actually fought back even with 8 seconds left to go. Pass goes down. They're able to focus him down. Kuro can't get out. The Shackle is there, latching into a tree on the other side of the wall, and Mousesports, they thought they had it. They thought they had it, and even without Chrono, they were able, WeHas Asia, to push Mousesports back, and now the shoe goes on the other foot. Back the other way.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. The Void just does so much damage. He's so tanky at this point with the Butterfly, with the backtrack. It's so hard to sit in melee range of him just because of how fast he attacks. You're going to get stun locked, you're going to get lightning procs on you, and there's just absolutely too much damage, too fast coming out from this Void, especially when you have a Batrider locking one of the highest damage heroes down. The lasso came out, and it makes Sven not able to really do any of his damage, which means that the Void is able to run free in a team fight.
And Fader's watching this middle lane. He doesn't want to get in too close. That Chrono is there. They can't even defend this. The only thing they really can do is, if there was a glyph, they could slow it down, but they've got to let this Rax go until they're at a point where they can fight. And that means Ven back up again, and that's another 25 seconds away. WeHas Asian, the question, do they force the point? No, they don't. They fall back. And I'm wondering if this actually is giving a little bit of an opportunity now over towards Mousesports. Repair the damage in the middle lane. We know Sven can easily push out against Mega Creeps and then look for a fight. Fader showed more and more that he can do that. And in 1 minute's time, when Refresher comes off cooldown, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible when you're talking about cleave damage, a Daedalus up on a Sven. It's only going to take that one team fight with buybacks on cooldown, and because of the fact that Void did have to buy out for the last engagement, this is going to be another potential team fight where everything is going to be up. The only thing that's currently on cooldown for either team is going to be the Refresher Orb of Mag, which is going to be up in 30 seconds, which means all ultimates, double reverse polarity. It's going to be down to if the Void can actually get in, do the damage that he needs to. He's going to be able to buy a full item here in about 800. He's going to have his Daedalus finished, but again, no buyback for a short time.
Watching WeHas Asian just then, come off from smoked out through the bottom, looking for a small little opening maybe. Coddle has to rotate up towards the top lane. Love how he's also finished up aside the Vice and has 2k gold. You expect 53 minutes in to have something like that. But Mousesports, the entire team want to enter in through the top lane. It's where there's no tier 3 tower, so why not? Oh, wait, Coddle Blast.
It's so hard to push it to this to begin with, just because even when you fully spam Illuminate, the cooldown on it is quite low.
Oh, hearing Shackles fly. It looks like Kuro is able to steal it himself. Everyone knows they're there, and Venomancer was. They're level 4, and Crit has trouble bringing these guys down. Kuro would just love to jump up there and just pull someone down, but no force. In fact, even look at Kuro's eye. He's got nothing. He's got Arcane Boost and Vitality Booster with a Magic Wand. That is it. It's a summary of a 54-minute Rubik.
He's definitely been suffering this game. And when you don't have those mobility items on a hero like Rubik, it makes it so much harder to ensure that you're in the right spot to get your spell steals off. You have to put yourself in dangerous positions. You're going to have no escape mechanisms whatsoever. He's stolen Shackle, which is pretty nice. If he lands a decent one, they can try to initiate. But at this point, it's basically down to whenever the Void wants to jump from WeHas Asian is when the team fight's going to start. And because now he has his Daedalus completely done and 1,700 gold, my thought is that they're going to sit here as long as they can, try to get the Void a little bit of extra gold. His buyback costs a lot at this point, but it's going to be on cooldown in 60 seconds.
So wait for the right moment. Wait for that right moment. He does still need himself another 400, 500 gold if he doesn't want to use that buyback. That's the amount of gold that he'll give away when he dies. But he'll slowly work up. And Mousesports, they just can't see a way in. And they should feel a lot more confident about this though. Because you look at that middle lane and, well actually, maybe they shouldn't, because WeHas Asian, It's still pushing in. Yeah, there's already the TP back. So Fader, he's forced to come back, and he's going to have to defend against this big-ass push. And even
really,
Black will catch up in the middle lane.
It really hurts Mouse because every single time they have to go back like that, they're just giving Void more time to get his buyback off cooldown. And Brood, like we were talking about earlier, doesn't make a great transition to a late game hero. I mean, he's 2-5 and 8. He's had some pretty good silences on the Void during team fights to prevent the Sphere from coming out early, but he just doesn't have that presence anymore. Ever since the laning phase has basically ended, this Brood Mother is essentially making the game a 4 versus 5, and it's not like Paz can do anything about it. It's just the innate weaknesses of the hero.
Yeah. Oh, as we get a little bit of a lag on my end, and
Yep, I believe I am as well.
All right, so we might have ourselves a couple of issues. We hit the 56-minute mark, and we get a little bit of a drop on our side of the bench. And we're back in again at the same time. And welcome back to a team fight around Roshan. It's going to be Unicorn Brianna, and the GG call comes out. It's actually a triple kill going the way of Unicorn. He stands his ground up against Roshan, and Mousesports call the GG. Welcome to the end of a game.
Well, apparently we were the only ones who couldn't see what was going on because they were fighting inside of the Roshan pit the whole time there was a triple kill coming out from the Void. I have to assume there was a pretty big sphere there, but unfortunately Mouse takes a really tough loss. We talked about the implications of this game before it even started, and I gotta say congratulations to We As Asian taking it long enough to where their Void could pretty much just carry the game for them.
Yeah, that it was, man. Void, he was just so damn big. 28,000 net worth. He is just so damn strong. How we saw it in the middle lane when that push came on through. The Chrono wasn't even required, and Mousesports saw that as an opportunity. They all pushed in, and because of that opportunity, they thought they had it. Then they won. Then We As Asian won the fight. Mid-Rax goes down. They try and force out the top, just not possible. And the Roshan is the end of all.
Yeah, Roshan ends another game, and like you were saying, when they went up that fight, they really thought that they were going to have an advantage, but what ended up happening is Sven is the only person on their team at that point in the game who did enough damage to threaten the Void. And Crit was right there with the lasso, stopping him from doing any damage, even with the BKB popped, whereas no one else on Mouse can even touch the Void outside of the Sven if the BKB's up, so there was just absolutely no way they could do anything at that point, and they just got a little bit too pulled apart during the mid-game. They took a couple of questionable team fights. Fata, he was kind of on and off with his reverse polarities, and it just really, really hurt. Yeah, that it did, man. That it absolutely did. We get to come back to our panel of boys.
Yep.
We get to come back. What an amazing ending.
Yeah, worse than The Sopranos. You didn't watch that, right?
I don't think either of us have seen it, but I mean, it kind of was unfortunate because that was the last team fight of the game, and we didn't even get the chance really to see what happened other than the Void just shredded a couple of people.